Welcome back! We're about to make The Great Wave by Katsushika Hokusai. My kindergarten kids are here to help us, and we've just had an art talk about Hokusai and his great, powerful wave. And now we're going to have fun making a wave ourselves. And we're going to look at a lot of characteristics of Hokusai's, and then we're going to make our own great wave. So let's start off at the upper left-hand corner. So we're going to jump up, and we're going to look at this corner, and watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to just place my left hand at the top edge of the page. At the bottom of my 4 fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to put a horizontal line. So follow with me with a horizontal line. Take your hand, put it up at the edge of your page at the tippity top, and make a horizontal line. My friends here are 6 years old, and they're going to follow along step by step with me. Now, we like to drive our cars. Ooh, yeah, that's fun. We're going to drive it just like we drive our car. And we're going to go up a hill, driving my car right up a hill. All the way up, but not quite to the top. So we're going to come over now and drive up a hill, over, and stop before we get to the top. Stop before the top. So go ahead, drive your car up the hill and stop. Next step, if you'd like to repeat after me my directions, you can, so listen carefully. When I do the bell, that means the next directions are about to begin, so look and listen carefully. Now we drive our car around and down. Drive it up, around and down. Go ahead now. Drive your car across and down. If you mess up, just redraw the line. Look at Miss Blueshy. Redraw the line. If you mess up, just redraw the line right on top. Next step, 2 fingers down. Place your finger at the top of the wave. Place it at the top of the wave and 2 fingers down. Now look, I'm going to jump over. Here's the end of my wave. Jump over a bit. Jump over a bit, 2 fingers down. Put a little number 1. Jump over a bit, put the number 1. Now we're going to make the letter C. Draw the letter C from the number 1. Down and around a giant letter C. Now you do it. Down and around like the giant letter C. Down and around. Next step, we're going to go all the way over across the page. Watch what I do first. All the way over across the page and going up, 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 up. All the way over across the page, going up, 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 up. Now the next step we're going to do is we're going to put in some of those claws kind of coming down. So we're going to put the backwards letter C. Let's think about that, kindergarten kids, because we're 6 years old and 5 years old. We know how to make the letter C. Watch Miss Blueshy first. Letter C. Now, if we make the backwards letter C, watch this. Start it here, curve it the other way. Backwards letter C. Let's try that again. Start on a point, curve, and go round. Backwards letter C. So it hooks. I want you to now make in this area 6 letter C's. Backwards letter C's. Backwards letter C, backwards letter C. Backwards letter C, backwards letter C. Now make them near each other. Backwards letter C, backwards letter C. So we're making 6 backwards letter C's. Now we're going to go to the this forms our giant wave. We're going to the middle of our giant wave. Jump down a little space, and I want you to make 6 backwards letter C's here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 backwards letter C's in the middle of this area. 6 backwards letter C's, backwards letter C's. Now we're going to go to the very beginning of our wave over here near the edge. Let's put 3 backwards letter C's in a row. 1, 2, 3 in a row. 3 in a row. This is forming the white cap of our wave. Now we're going to kind of connect it with a wiggly line. You can connect it with a free-form curving line. Free-form wiggles back and forth, up and down. A free-form wiggles. And just connect it all with a free-form wiggle. Up and down, 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 up and down. Free-form wiggles. It forms almost, what letter is this now? Down and up. Down and up, and then this way. In. Yeah. Stick some of those letters in. We just want this curvy freeform line. We want it to look fluffy. Now this is what I call the power of the wave. The power, say it, power of the wave. The power of the wave goes down and around. The power of the wave goes down and around. These are the stripes in the wave. This will create the movement. Lines in art can show movement. Say movement. Movement. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy the letter C curve. Watch, here we go. Down and, watch. Down and around the power of the wave. Repeat it. Down and around the power of the wave. Now draw with me. Do it again. Down and around the power of the wave. Good. Do it again. Down and around the power of the wave. And we're going to fill that in going across all the way to the edge of the page. Down and around. Down and around. Down and around the power of the wave. This will create the movement that the wave is coming up and around. My lines are creating movement. The movement of the water. Down and around. Now, if you haven't had time to do all of these movement lines, you can do that later. The next thing we're going to do is in the very background, look, what is this in the very background hiding? A hill, yeah. And if you look out today across Tokyo Bay, you will see this little hill. It's actually a giant hill, and it's actually a volcano. So put a tiny line underneath this white cap, and it's the volcano called Mount Fuji. Can you say Mount Fuji? Mount Fuji. Great. Now come on down, just like you slide on down. Straight line down, and stop at the wave. Now we're going to put snow on top of Mount Fuji, and we're going to do it like a W. A W. Here we go. W. W. Snow like Mount Fuji. W. Now I'm going to do another straight line, and I'm going to connect. Straight line, straight line. So now I have Mount Fuji. And the next directions, we're going to be making the wave in what's called the front or the foreground. This is a much smaller wave. Can you see how it's a little bit smaller than the one in the middle ground here? So we're going to do a smaller wave, come over to the edge. Horizontal line over at the edge. Horizontal line over at the edge. Now we're going to go up and back down to the edge. Up and back down to the edge. Now we're going to put in, we're going to finish it just like we did the top. So I want you to wait for a minute now that we've drawn our other waves. And I want you to just watch me, and then you can finish this on your own. So let's put our pencils down now, and I'm going to show you a few things, how we can decorate our wave. So put your pencils down and listen carefully. We're going to finish this just like we did the top. We can make our curvy freeform lines, our letter C's and backwards letter C's to make our white cap connecting all together. I want you to listen carefully so that you can finish it in a minute. And I'm going to show you a technique, and this technique is using markers. And I'm just going to copy the lines that I've drawn, the curving motion lines, the lines of movement. Now remember, you're not doing this right now. And when we add marker to our lines of movement, and I'm not coloring in. You see how I'm not coloring? I'm just making my lines of the waves. Then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just water. So watch as I use my brush and add just water to the waves. I'm only putting water in on my lines. So I'm going to just add water to where I see my lines. And what that will do, is that will create some paint. The marker, watch this technique. The marker is now going to become water paint. And the marker will melt. And I'm going to show you this technique here, how it's melting. Let me show you up close. So when I take this, I add the water to this, and it melts the marker so that it can create a little bit of paint. And then I can go ahead and move my paint to other areas. It dissolves and creates a really nice watercolor effect. It creates shadows. It leaves the marker dark in some areas, but then it creates a lighter value in other areas. So I have a light wash of color for the shadows. And the way it melts, it makes a nice watercolor effect for these waves. And that's how you can finish your Mount Fuji. You can even bring some of the color. If you haven't put color over here, you can bring some of this color from your brush just by pulling off of the paint over here. You can move that to different areas. If you want to stick some clouds in over here, these are just light washes of paint. I move it from one area, take it from here, and I move it to here to make little clouds. And that's how you can have fun painting your Mount Fuji. You can see how this is really dissolving here. So we're dissolving the markers to make paint. And there you have your Mount Fuji Great Wave painting.